This video follows on from the previous 3 videos which focus on the dynamic mobilisation exercises commonly known as carrot stretches. In this video, we'll focus on the 3rd position in the sequence, which is nose to chest. Asking the horse to take their nose to the chest encourages them to engage the thoracic sling and to lift the thoracic spine. This is a subtle lift of the thoracic spine which engages the core. Taking the nose to the chest also dorsally flexes the neck. If you've seen the first video in this series, think back to the introduction of Mischief, where I showed her lordotic back conformation. Currently, her back dips in her thoracic spine. Remember I said that this was partly due to her lack of top-line muscles and partly due to her lack of core strength. Therefore, this position within the sequence is really important to her. She needs to be able to lift her thoracic spine and engage and develop her thoracic epaxials if she's going to comfortably take the weight of a rider. However, because she's currently weak in this area, she does find it difficult. Therefore, I don't ask her to hold the position for too long before allowing her to release. The lift of the thoracic sling during this movement is subtle. You may have carried out a belly lift in the past, where you tickle underneath the horse's stomach from the sternum backwards. When you tickle them in this way, you can sometimes get quite a dramatic response. The horse clearly lifts the whole of its back. Don't expect to achieve quite such a dramatic response with this movement. You need to look closely in order to see the lift that's achieved. I've taken some stills from the video so that we can make a comparison. In the top photo, she has her nose towards her chest, whereas the bottom photo is during the release. Although the difference is only subtle, you can see the straighter appearance of her back and the increased engagement of her thoracic sling and abdominal muscles. You might wonder why bother carry out this exercise if the belly tickle or the belly lift achieves a more dramatic effect. The reason why I prefer to carry out this movement is because the horse is actively engaged in this movement. It's slow and controlled and can be repeated a few times during each session. The belly lift, although it has its place, is more a response to a reflex, and the horse isn't really in control in the same way. They quickly and abruptly move away from the stimulus. A lot of horses can also get quite grumpy if that movement is carried out too regularly, as they don't always like to be tickled under the girth area. Here's Elsa carrying out the same movement. Remember, she's been carrying out this movement for longer, so she's had more practice, and she also carries out other stable exercises and pole work which encourage her to engage her thoracic sling, as well as being a horse that is in full ridden work, and therefore she is used to carrying a rider over her thoracic spine. All of this tells us that she should find it easier than Mischief, which she does. And again, you have to look very carefully to see the subtle lift of the thoracic spine as she takes her nose to her chest. However, with her practice and her increased flexibility, Elsa has managed to develop a way to cheat. This is demonstrated in the next video. What she tries to do is take her nose to the base of her neck rather than to her chest, meaning she only has to flex her neck and overflex her neck at that, rather than engage her thoracic sling and thoracic spine. This isn't ideal because she isn't then engaging her core so much, and she's actually overflexing in the neck and taking the head far too much behind the vertical. This puts increased strain on the joints at the top of her neck where you can see she's overflexing. I've taken a couple of stills from this video so that you can see more clearly. When her nose is truly to her chest, we don't get the overflexion, but we do get the engagement of the thoracic sling and thoracic spine.